boy. Welcome to another episode of Tootie's Toy Box. I am, of course, your host, Miss Tootie Odin, with you almost every week. We try to do our best, the royal we try to do our best to make sure that we have content, good, valuable content, at least entertaining, once a week, so that we can get this channel growing, get this channel moving. So if you're watching now, if you're watching in the near future, I truly appreciate your faith in what we have going for Tootie's Toy Box. It's been a wonderful week so far as personally goes. I know out in the world things are a bit questionable, a bit chaotic, a bit filled with discovery of this and that and the other. And I kind of just when I took the week off 2 weeks ago, I think it was necessary. So I'm really happy. That we were able to have that time off. Like I said last week, we are plugged back in. Hello, Big Betty. Nice to see you. Cool. My chat's working. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know that the chat is actually working. Yay. I didn't even have to check it. But it has been a weird week basically globally. It's been a really weird week for all of us. So in tonight's episode, we will be discussing the effects that real-time war has on pop culture. And man, when I started to do a little bit of studying and research on this subject, I didn't realize how much we still today are culturally affected by even the war, the Vietnam War, a war that predates most of us, really, in our lifetime. I think the biggest effect that it had on us personally, as Zennials, as Millennials, is 9/11, the war after 9/11, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, basically any war in the Middle East that we have experienced, the Desert Storm War in the 80s or early 90s, was it? So, we've been well acquainted with the Middle East. This is not our first rodeo when it comes to the Middle East, and we're going to talk about it. So let's get into it. Do me a favor, if you guys like this episode, leave a thumbs up at the end of it. It's free to do. Subscribe if you're really into it. Subscribe. There's tons of variety of stuff that we do on this channel now. They're all pop culture based. I do make toys. I'm a big fat nerd, so I do enjoy video games. I do enjoy the things that are a little bit more well-rounded when it comes to pop culture, but I do like to touch on the reality. We have to touch grass every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen. We can't just live and plug in and not unplug every once in a while. So yeah, it's important. It's important that we stay well-rounded, that we develop healthy habits, which is why Tootie's Toy Box was created in the first place. I started it as a hobby channel. I built toys on this channel, and from then developed into pop culture subjects. And again, we will be going back to building toys soon enough. So soon enough, I do have one ready to go. So once I get my bearings down and I get my work schedule figured out better, we're going to get into it, because these toys that we build, these Namco Bonami toys, are insane. They're time consuming, but they're so worth it. It's worth it to be able to sit here and build with you guys and just talk to you while we do it. So I can't wait for that. I'm very much looking forward to our next build together. So, all right. Thank you, Big Benny. Woohoo. Let's go. Oh, wait, hold on. I got something. Time out. Where is it? Yes. I finally have a real reason to use the clap that is not me. So yay, thank you. Woohoo, let's do this. So let's get started. Let's get started in today's episode. War and pop culture. Unless you've been living under a rock, under a bridge, we all know what's going on in the world right now. We all know that everybody's talking about World War III. I'm not going to call it that. That's a bit dramatic if you ask me. We'll see though. We'll see. So there is that. But I did want to talk about the effects of war and how it actually turns the tides and bends our reality, because our reality throughout history has been based through pop culture. Our personalities are based through pop culture. Wearing Converse from high school to now, which is what I do. That's pop culture. That's a pop culture influence. Our fashion, our style, um, the movies we watch, the purses we carry, the keychains we have on our keys. All of it is influenced by the outside world. All of it is as original as we know and think we are, and we are. For the most part, most of us do have our own originality and identity about us, and thank God for that. That we're not just clones of each other, but all of that is influenced by something else, by the outside world. If you wear a sparkly white glove, guess who wore the first sparkly white glove on one hand? You know what I mean? So everything is influenced by something else. And it turns out a lot of what we experience, a lot of what we are influenced by, has come about in wartime. Let me just go ahead and read something that I wrote out for you guys, and then we'll get started. It's basically about war and pop culture, because that's what we're talking about. So, war acts as a massive cultural accelerator, forcing technology, language, and aesthetics from the battlefield into our living rooms. It doesn't just provide the subject for our stories; it reshapes the very tools we use to tell them. So that's exactly that. I wanted to tell you, yes, absolutely. There's definitely Q&A. This is a live discussion. I'm going to keep talking. You have something to say. You got questions. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. It's called a live discussion for a reason, and this is exactly what I want. I want people to talk back to me. So yes, please, by all means. Um, uh, but I wanted to tell you guys, I didn't know this personally. I just learned this today. Um, Blockbuster, which is a term that we use, right? We all know what Blockbuster is or what Blockbuster was. When you watch a movie in the theaters, we called it a blockbuster film. Obviously, Blockbuster, the video rental place. Turns out, Blockbuster is a war term. A war term, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a bomb that destroys, that can destroy a whole city block. That's what Blockbuster means. Another one is snafu. I got into a little bit of a snafu. That's another one that we use. That's also a war term. Um, Bite the bullet is another one. In the trenches is another one. Now, these are all kind of obvious, or at least they should have been obvious. They definitely were not obvious to me. Bite the bullet, it should have been obvious. Definitely wasn't. Oh man, I'm in the trenches right now, bro. Also, not very obvious, but duh. Like, yeah, where else would we get those terms from? As far as fashion goes, now these are fashion things that we still today wear that were influenced by, I think, World War One, if I remember correctly. Ray-Ban aviators, a very, very famous sunglasses that are still worn today. The trench coat. The trench coat is kind of seen as a kind of a negative, like nobody wants to see somebody in a trench coat anymore for several reasons, right? But that's also that was and is a fashion statement. Casablanca, the trench coat was a huge fashion statement in Casablanca. Camouflage, wearing camouflage, that should be an obvious one. Camouflage is obviously from the military. Berets is another one. I don't know many people who wear them, but you're right. But you're right, because there are people bold enough to still wear a beret. I'm not, but it's definitely a fashion statement now, as opposed to a military statement. M&Ms. That's an interesting one. M&Ms, the candy, was created specifically for war soldiers to carry sugar and candy in their pockets. The melt in your mouth, not in your hands thing was real. These were candies that were meant to be kept safe in a soldier's pocket, in a soldier's case, or whatever it was that they carried, so that they did not melt. That's why they were candy coated, so that they had a harder time of melting, and that the only time they melted is when the soldier was actually able to eat them in wartime, during a time where there was rations, and they had very little to nothing to eat at the times as they were in the trenches, right? M&Ms, that was such an interesting one. Peace signs. We see peace signs everywhere. We see the symbol that does this with a circle around it. That's the peace sign. That is another one. That is actually a wartime a wartime symbol. And some of these, again, are obvious, but some of them aren't. And it kind of makes you think, like, well, Jesus, like I wear the peace sign all the time. And again, I'm not necessarily making a statement. I just happen to think the shirt is cute or something like that. So it's just very interesting to me how the clash happens of very real tragedy clashing and conforming itself into this idea that, hey, let's make this fashionable. Let's make this tragedy into something. It makes me wonder, like I bet there's history behind hoop earrings. and maybe there's a slavery history behind them, or a like, who knows, the fashion that we wear today has always stems from something else, and I just find it so fascinating and so interesting. um one of the bigger influences as far as war is concerned is the Vietnam War. Again, it was a war before my time. I didn't experience it myself, but I do know that there are so many movies that have based themselves off of the Vietnam War and the effects of the war. One of my favorites, and I actually have two favorites in that category. One being Forrest Gump, the other being Full Metal Jacket. Two absolutely brilliant films, if you ask me. Um, Full Metal Jacket, probably my favorite. It's done so well. It whispers to you the it whispers at you the effects and the mind fucks that our soldiers could have possibly gone through. It seemed so real and so raw, without experience, without personal experience. I am not a veteran, but without the personal experience of being in war ourselves, it was a film that was done so well that you were able to slip your feet into it and almost live that life as a Vietnam soldier. The movie held humor. There was humor because these were young men. These men were in their early teens, or I'm sorry, late teens, early 20s. Young men, goofy guys, hanging out, losing friends that they made. They leave their farm town to go into the army because they're drafted, knowing nobody, leaving family. And the only person you have to hold on to is the brother you just met. On top of being told, if you leave a man behind, you're a piece of shit. This is drained into them. They're drained to kill. They're trained to kill. They're also trained to love. I couldn't imagine that type of mindfuck when it comes to the Vietnam War. Trained to kill anybody you see that isn't your brother. If you see your brother, you take care of your brother. But anybody else, gone. Get rid of them. They're not for us. They're not here with us. It's such an insane thought. Now, I can't imagine that it's much different for our soldiers that are overseas currently. I can't imagine that the idea of war has changed. Like, no, give him a chance. Like, I don't see that happening. No, hear him out. I just don't see it. So, it's respectable. This is why when you see a veteran, it's very important to thank them and honor them. And even though you feel cheesy, I feel cheesy doing it, but I still do it because I don't think it's right to give somebody who gave their lives commercial. I don't think it's right for somebody who willingly gives themselves up, whether they live or die, but whether they live, if they're right in front of you. I don't want to put flowers on their grave when they pass away. I want to give them their flowers while they're still here. So I go out of my way. It doesn't make me a better person. I'm not better than anybody, but I personally commit myself to thanking them and for their service. I don't know what they went through. I'm going by the movies. I'm going by pop culture. That's how I know. And that's how I've got to experience what they went through, is by movies. The Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was called the Living Room War. It was the very first war that you could watch on television. All the updates. And the thing is, the government or the FBI put themselves in a position to where they wanted to, supposedly, this is what they're telling us, right? They wanted to be, what is the term? I have it written down here. A credibility gap. They didn't want any credibility gaps when it came to the war. They wanted the people to see the raw. They wanted people to see that, hey, we're doing the right thing, just so you know. But what they were really doing is trying to convince the American people that we are doing the right thing, just so you know. The soldiers didn't feel that way. The soldiers who were overseas, who were behind the scenes, who watched their brothers die, who continuously had to guard themselves constantly, with no sleep, with no food, with no shelter, with no showers, with no cleanliness, with loneliness, coping with grief and with the death of their loved ones. That you were just there a second ago, and now you're blown up, you're gone. Those guys, we don't see their stories. We only see the stories, the reports. 54 Viet Cong dead and blah, 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 whatever it is. But it was the most It was the very first televised war in the history of the world. In the history of the world. I can't imagine that. Like it really, through that, you have all these songs in the 60s and 70s, and all this peace, the peace symbol, right? That's where Forrest Gump comes into me. Is Forrest Gump didn't take, as much as it did take the nitty-gritty of the war, it took the other side of it too. His girlfriend was a hippie. Jenny was a hippie, right? She was opposed to the war, and yet she still supported Forrest in fighting the war, and was kind of honored to know him in a sense, even though she was completely opposed to it. I think people like that actually did exist. I think pop culture and the conservative movement of war actually clashed with each other, thus making the Turtles, to everything turn, 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 all that stuff, all the come on people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now, all that, they meant it. Billy Don't Be a Hero is another one. Billy Don't Be a Hero was not necessarily about the Vietnam War. I think it was about World War II, if I remember correctly. But it's basically about a boy and a girl. They're about to get married. He gets called to war, and she's begging him not to go. And he said, "Don't worry, I'll be back." And he goes off to war. They kiss each other goodbye. He goes off to war. He ends up dying in war. She receives a letter a year later, months later. She knew what the letter said. She threw it away. She doesn't even read it. She doesn't read the letter. She refuses to accept his death, even though she knows that he died. She knew it was going to happen. Tragic. These are songs. These are real movements that people felt because, oh my God, this is wrong. I don't like any of this. This is wrong. I'm going to wear it on my shirt. I'm going to write it in a song. I'm going to make a movie about it. It's wrong. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where pop culture was born, in my opinion. Through this is where pop culture actually was born, because these are the pop culture trends that still exist today. All the trends that existed through war. You don't see shoulder pads. You don't see so much of that. And even that, for all we know, is a war trend, is a war style. The big shoulders and the shoulder pads. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. But I want to share a clip with you guys. And it's the first clip. It's a real raw one. It is a clip from Forrest Gump. Now, as I mentioned before, Forrest Gump is absolutely one of my favorite movies in all the world. When this scene was made, it was definitely made with a lot of CGI. However, the CGI was so good. People were highly disturbed. This movie, I think, came out in 1995. I was 11 years old when this film came out. But oh my goodness, this scene in particular, like, I think it blew the minds of a lot of people. This one, and then the scene where Lieutenant Dan's legs are chopped off and missing. That was also one of the very first CGI scenes to ever exist in cinema. Just a sidebar there. But here, let me show you how real the Vietnam War may have been. Now, I'm almost positive there was a lot of research done, so as not to disrespect our veterans, so as not to disrespect the war itself. I can't imagine that this is too far off from what we expect to imagine and what we expect to know through the eyes of our Vietnam veteran soldiers. So here we go. Did I share it? Hold on. Oh, I gotta do this. Hold on.
And then,
sorry.
Just like that, somebody turned off the rain and the sun come out.
Hold on, I'm gonna share this again. Let me move this over. I want you guys to see the whole thing. I don't want you to see just the. I don't need that gray bar in the way. So hold on. It's such a good scene.
And then, just like that, somebody turned off the rain and the sun come out.
Oh, that's so good. I apologize for the lag, you guys. Um, I apologize for the lag. There's nothing I can do about that so much. There's a lot of shit cramming itself through my little tiny laptop, so I'm doing my best. But what a powerful scene! What a powerful scene! Um, the scene where Lieutenant Dan's looking over at his two other soldiers, and they're looking at him, and they're like, "What did you say?" Like almost like they're waiting for the next order, and then poof, they're gone. They blow up. They blow up, and the CGI is so good. You see skeletons, like you see the fire and you see the flame in an instant, and then also you see just the skeletal features of them just for a quick second, and then they're gone. They go from human to skeleton to gone, just gone. I can't imagine seeing something like that in real life. Watching it in a movie is freaky enough. Watching it in a movie is enough. I couldn't imagine seeing something like that in real life. Now, I do have family who are respectable veterans. Um, my the father of my kids is a Navy vet. He has seen some things. He has experienced some things. He experienced a fellow soldier dying in his arms. My cousin has witnessed similar when he was overseas in Iran as well. Um, he witnessed his partner stepping on an IUD, I believe, and having to pick up his pieces of his body so that he can send pieces of his body back home. And I know that messed with him. And culture, pop culture, both of them ended up going to war after 9/11. We were 17, 18, 19 years old at the time, and I know I know for a fact that 9/11 is the reason why they ended up signing up for service in the first place. I tried to join the Navy when I was 18. I couldn't do it because I failed the math test. Turns out you have to know algebra. I don't. I suck at math so bad. I failed the math test. So I never made it into the military. But I was definitely inspired. Like, you're attacking my country. How very dare you? Like, I want in on this. You know what I mean? And back then, I guess you can call it a trend in a sense. I guess you can call it a pop culture trend because there were so many people who entered the war because of 9/11. The homie's going, so I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? Now the father of my kids and my cousin don't even know each other. They don't know each other. They don't know each other from Adam. And yet they went to war around the same time for the same reasons. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Forrest Gump, again, one of my favorite films. But also it gives you this idea that no matter what, you're not safe. And right before the clip I showed you, Forrest Gump, it starts raining, and then Forrest Gump says, and then all of a sudden somebody just turned off the rain, and as soon as that rain stops is when the ambush happens. Makes you like they were waiting. They were waiting. Did that really happen? Who knows? Is it possible? Yes. Yes, history speaks for itself. Vietnam veterans who have stories to tell speak for themselves. Absolutely, it's possible that they just sat and waited for the rain to end, and boom, we got you. We got you right. We got you with your pants down. Oof, that's powerful stuff. That's powerful stuff. So, the other side of that is the peace movement, the big cultural peace movement that happened. I mean, we just briefly just talked about it. The come on, people, now smile on each other. There's the let the sun shine. All these are war songs. They're all songs that were created in response to the Vietnam War. Let me see. I have more. Fortunate Son is another one. Going further back in history, the Star Spangled Banner is a war song. God Save the Queen is a war song, which is the national anthem for England. I don't know the difference between England and Great Britain. So, and if you watch this, put it in the comments. I know the UK and England are not the same thing. I think the UK is Wales, England, whoever else is there. I don't know who else is there. What it look like? But all those guys are like, I think UK is its own thing, but I think England is also its own thing. Um, Yeah, but I always tend to mix the two because I don't know what's national and what's not over there on that side. I've never been across the pond in that area. So, but anyway, that's a war song. God Save the Queen is a war song. So it's just interesting. Like culture itself is derived and born and bred through war. Through war. Every single day we wake up influenced by war in one way or another. I have another clip I want to show you. It's from another one of my favorite films, Full Metal Jacket. I'm going to see if I can do this without too much trouble. Again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, get on in there. We are right here for it. Let me find it. Oh, commercial. I don't even know if you guys can hear the music, but if you can't, that's fine. Don't worry, it's not going to stay this dark. We're going to start talking about how humor is affected in pop culture and war. Oh, hold on. I need to plug me in. Let's see. This way I don't have to cut the episode short. There we are. Okay. Show on stream. Is it there? Yeah, okay. Let's see.
Turned up, got shot.
No, I don't want you to do that. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second.
Got somebody buried. Turned up, got shot. Somebody buried alive.
Right? Colonel? Green, what is that button on your body armor?
A peace symbol, sir.
Where'd you get it?
I don't remember, sir.
What is that you've got written on your helmet?
Born to kill, sir.
You write born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. What's that supposed to be? Some kind of sick joke?
No, sir.
What is it supposed to mean?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know very much, do you?
No, sir.
You better get your head and your ass wired together or I will take a giant shit on you.
Yes, sir.
Now answer my question or you'll be standing tall before the man.
I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
The what?
The duality of man, the Jungian thing, sir.
Whose side are you on, son?
Our side, sir.
Don't you love your country?
Yes, sir.
Then how about getting with the program? Why don't you jump on the team and come on in for the big win?
Yes, sir.
Son, all I've ever asked of my Marines is for them to obey my orders as they would the word of God. We are here to help the Vietnamese because inside every gook there is an American trying to get out. It's a hardball world, son. We've got to try to keep our heads until this peace craze blows over.
Aye, aye, sir.
So quite interesting and also quite telling, if I'm being honest. Absolutely quite telling. Get with the program or you'll be standing tall before the man. These soldiers are and were terrified of their leadership. I can't go against. I'm just following orders. Throughout history, you hear how soldiers had to ask and beg for forgiveness because all they were doing was following orders. World War II, you see that a lot. And then we condemn these individuals for making decisions based on following orders. I couldn't imagine. I truly cannot imagine. It's horrifying. It truly is absolutely horrifying to try your best to make sure that you stay alive, but also make sure your brother stays alive, but also make sure you are ready and alert at all times to follow any and every order that is being sent to you. Thus comes in humor in war. You have to laugh about it, otherwise you'll go insane. What else do we have to cope other than laughter? The gallows effect is what it's called. Humor in war through pop culture. Historically, humor has been the primary defense against the absurdity of violence. from World War I trench journals to the Korean War. MASH, the TV show in the 70s starring Alan Alda, was hilarious, but it was about the Korean War. Comedy allows participants and observers to zoom out from the horror. What we have nowadays, and we'll get there eventually, but we have mimetic warfare. So memes. We live through memes now. Everything is hilarious because we have memes to cope with. I think one of the now there's been others. Monty Python has made a few snippets or skits and bits and movies about war in a sense. But there's been several, especially in the 60s, 70s. Well, especially now. One of the ones that I have for you here is Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder is another one of my favorite movies. A very controversial film in this day and age. Probably one that they would never be able to make again. But so funny. Absolutely hilarious through and through. And it knew how ridiculous it was, to be honest. Tropic Thunder is the movie that has Robert Downey Jr. dressed in blackface. And I'm sorry, but he does such an amazing job. He nails it. Does he nail it as a black dude? No, but he nails it as a character that he's playing. So let's give him that at least. I do see something more in the chat. Yes, I freaking love that movie too. It's super good. See, that's the thing. And this movie, Tropic Thunder, is also about the Vietnam War. It's also about recreating the Vietnam War. It's a movie about a movie making a movie. I'm the dude dressed as a dude, disguised as another dude. That's literally what the movie is about. So these guys are hired to do this movie based off this book that was written by a Vietnam vet, and they want to do him great honor by making it the best. So what ends up happening is the movie isn't going great. Their Jewish producer Lex something, played by Tom Cruise, who does a phenomenal job, is very displeased with how the movie is going. So what ends up happening is the Vietnam vet, I think he has like a hook for hand and all kinds of, like he's like super hardcore, but he's like, hey, I got an idea. I can get your guys to really act like they're in the war by doing such and such and such. So he ends up having them go deep into the jungles and actually fight against these war gangs. Now they're not necessarily Viet Cong anymore because we're well into the late 1999s, 2000s. So they're not fighting Viet Cong, but they are fighting Vietnam gangs, which is just as hilarious, right? So I do have a clip for you guys. Totally rando, because I wasn't going to play the obvious one. I wasn't going to play the full retard one because, you know, we've all seen it. But I do have one for you guys because it is true. It is true that we have to shield ourselves when it comes to tragedy. We shield ourselves. The hardest thing, I think, in my own lifetime that I had to shield myself from humor, and it's still very hard till this day, is 9/11, because we saw that was an act of war in its own right. It wasn't necessarily war. It was an initial act of war. We can debate as to who started it. We can debate that all day and night till the cows come home. Was it the Saudis? Was it Afghanistan? Was it the United States? Was it Pacoima, California? We don't know, right? Everybody has these ideas as to where it started from. What we do know is what we saw on television that day. The very thing that scarred us, a lot of us, for the rest of our lives. The very thing that shaped our personalities. On my end, absolutely personally, I'm a crazy anti-conspiracy theorist. I've been that since I was 17 because I knew something was wrong. 9/11 did not sit well with me, even back then as a 17-year-old kid. It did not sit well with me, and it does not sit well with me today. Now, I don't make it a habit of making it my entire personality, of course. But I do raise an eyebrow every time I see something happening in the news. Is it real? Is it fake? Who did it? Did we do it? Did somebody do it? V for Vendetta. Now, just so you guys know, I did do an episode on V for Vendetta. Go back and review it. Go back and watch it because we do a lot of this too. V for Vendetta is another war movie in its own way. It's another war movie. It's about revolutionizing togetherness and uniting and revolutionizing against a government who acted against its own people. Treasonous actions against its own people. Of course, a fantasy movie, right? Anyway, go watch it. It's up there. Maybe I'll leave the link inside the comments if you guys want to watch it later. But it was one of my favorite episodes to do. Very fun. One of my favorite movies as well. I have a lot of favorite movies, and a lot of them have to do with violence. So take that as you will. But I do have a clip for you guys. I'm gonna try to share it with you as smoothly as possible, smoother than I've been doing. Let's see if I can do it. Let's get there. Yeah, I think after what we just talked about, I think we have convinced ourselves that, yeah, war's heavy, bro. War's heavy, man. So let's get some humor involved. Let's see how Hollywood actually takes it and not necessarily makes fun of it, because there's nothing to make fun of, but humorizes it. Because again, I can't imagine how our men and women are overseas capable of keeping their sanity without being able to laugh.
Damn donkeys, acting like you some one-man GPS. God damn it! We lost. We fucking super lost, man. Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
I don't believe you people.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people? I think what Tug
man.
means is you
No,
people,
look at
you
his eyes,
actors,
man.
you people.
Look at them beady white devil eyes.
I gotta get back to the actors.
Chill, all right? Just chill it. Now, let's go get those Viet Congs.
Viet Cong.
What?
It's Viet Cong. There's no S. It's already plural. You wouldn't say Chinese's.
I'm sorry, but that is hilarious. You wouldn't say Chinese's. And he's right. Don't say Chinese's. Somehow it's racist. Don't say Chinese's. But also, I mean, it's hilarious. It's funny. The entire movie, I think, is on purpose very controversial, on purpose very derogatory, on purpose very funny. Now, if they made a funny movie about 9/11, how would I feel about that? If they made a funny movie about, people are falling out of buildings, would I find that funny? I don't think so. I don't think I would. I would love to find the humor in something like that, but I don't know if I would. So it makes me wonder, if I was in the shoes of a Vietnam veteran, if I was in the shoes of an Iraq veteran, an Afghanistan veteran, if I was in their shoes and somebody was making fun of me and my difficult time overseas, would I find it funny? It's hard to say. We find it funny. We are meme lords, especially now. We are the lords of memes. I have several that I can share with you guys now. Hold on, I see somebody else in the chat. Oh, I closed it. My bad. Oh. Yes, laugh, please. Laughter all around. But yeah, good stuff. So, I mean, as well-rounded as pop culture actually is, there is a certain morality and a certain question we have to ask ourselves. Am I laughing too hard at a certain subject? We did a review last week on the movie Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And one of the subject matters in that film was school shootings and how nonchalant they were being about, oh, is this your first time? Is this your first time losing a child in a school shooting? And they're like doing all that and like, well, traffic, beat the traffic, and it disturbed me. It bothered me a little bit. Like, oh my God, why are they fucking acting like this? This is gross. Why are these people doing this? And it's humor. It's grief. It's satire, obviously. It's not meant to be insensitive. It's meant to give us another outlet outside of crying, outside of anger, outside of insanity. It's meant to give us another outlet in order for us to be able to cope with the weight of the world, with the heaviness that weighs upon us, even currently, especially currently. We have been bombarded with so many things in the last couple of months, from January to now till March 2nd. What is it? March 2nd? March 3rd? Anyway, from the beginning of January to now, Epstein files and all of a sudden now we're in war with Iran. Oh, Israel, what the heck? All of a sudden with all this stuff. Oh, aliens are coming back. Oh, that's gonna be cool. You know what I mean? Like now we're just being boom, 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 bombarded with all this stuff. And we have work tomorrow. And our kids have swim practice. And we have to oh my God, I have to make sure that I'm here for the live. I have to make sure that I make content. Everybody's busy, way too busy doing other things to want to focus on this. You know what I want to do though? I want to put my t-shirt on and wear my peace pin. I want to put my t-shirt on and wear my Ray-Ban aviator sunglasses because they look really good with these hoop earrings. Right? Pop culture. War propagated pop culture. I'm not saying don't. Do what you got to do. I'm all in. I do want to share some memes with you guys, actually, because this is currently what is happening now. And thank God these are not videos. These are just memes. Oh, gotta do that again. I only picked out 2 because they're like such classic memes. They're so stupid. Let me find them. It's just silliness. It's just absolute brain rot silliness that we use in order for us to be able to just cope with life, to be able to live. I got work tomorrow. I don't want to deal with this war shit. I got work tomorrow. I'm going to express myself in my own way, or I'm going to ignore it. You see? So here's one. This is one of my favorite ones because, oh shit, I forgot. I didn't realize I didn't change the title here. Anyway, me and my bro in World War III after watching someone do a Fortnite dance over a corpse. How is that not funny? Because it's not. They're dancing Fortnite dances over a corpse. But it also kind of is because, like, who's playing Fortnite? 17, 18, 19-year-olds, the same ones being sent overseas. What else do we have for them? We sent them out. We got to trust the government, make sure that they're taken care of. Right? Just sending them out. Okay. Well, expendable humans, expendable human life, expendable breath. Fine. We're good. Let's laugh about it. What else do we have? I have one more, actually. Because they are kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. This one's my favorite. Where is it? Oh, not that. This one. Bro's got googly eyes. That shit's hilarious. What does it say? I forgot what it says. Pro tip, add large googly eyes to your ghillie suit for added psychological warfare. That is so stupid. It's so stupid, but I would totally be down to do it. I would totally be down to do it. Yeah. So there's that. There's definitely humor in everything now. And I know, let me hide that. I do know that there is evidence throughout history that humor is used, and that in a sense, humor is actually embedded in our DNA for reasons, for cultures, and honestly, most cultures. If we want to go balls deep back into history, we were all affected by the, what is it called? The cataclysm, right? The fire and ice, the Great Flood. The Great Flood is in every version of history you can ever think of. Ancient history, almost every single religion, almost every single historical document you can think of from back then has a Great Flood involved in their lives. So, like, humor is kind of embedded in our DNA because humor and grief kind of go hand in hand. They have to in order for human life to continue to succeed in the way that it does. We still have to have a stronghold here, and we still have to have a stronghold here, right? But at the same time, we have to understand, like, hey, there is a time to cry. If you don't cry, yeesh, you're kind of entering a territory of you being a monster. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't feel sympathy, if you can't feel empathy, you're lost. Man, I can't imagine the weight on the shoulders of our soldiers and how they have to balance that constantly, the idea of my brother's dead. Till this day, oh, my brother died. Oh my God. And then they have to just continue to live their lives. My brother's dead, but I have to mow my lawn. My brother's dead. Oh, but my daughter has practice. My son has practice. Oh, I can't. I love that we have this in pop culture. I love that we get to experience these things through the eyes of people we've never met, even if it is through movies or through documentaries. And I recommend highly watching documentaries and interviews of actual soldiers. It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart. And not necessarily so that it breaks your heart, so that it humanizes them, so that it humanizes what we're going through now. So that when you see the next story of 6 soldiers died in whatever, then you feel that. Because if we don't feel it, we'll never be against it. We'll never be willing to fight against it. We'll never be like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want this anymore. Why? How senseless. High school girls you bombed an entire high school full of little girls? Why? Dead children? Why? We can't lose that empathy. We can't lose that sympathy. And the truth is, we can only keep that through humor. How ironic. Something that makes fun of dead people, something that makes fun of dancing Fortnite dances on corpses is what's going to keep us human. That's what's going to keep our spark close and closely knit and tapped into humanity. I have one more clip for you guys. It's my all-time favorite clip from the movie Full Metal Jacket. And I hope it doesn't lag on you. It might, but I'm probably going to end the episode here. I'm going to end the episode with this clip. But just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes peeled for new culture trends. Keep your eyes peeled for new TikTok dances. I don't have a TikTok that I follow faithfully. I'm an old woman, so I don't do TikTok as much as I know you youngsters do. But think about it. Think about how our Super Bowl. A lot of our Super Bowls have this one dance sequence. Our Olympic openers have this one dance sequence where there's a line of maybe 15, 25 people, and they're dancing like soldiers. And it's just this sequence, and it seems like, oh my God, that's so cool. But they're literally just promoting the military. They're literally just promoting military. Simpsons episode, Join the Navy, Ivan Etniage. I don't know if you guys know that one, but they just put Join the Navy backwards, Ivan Etniage, in one of their songs, making fun of propaganda, making fun of American propaganda, how they sneak it in to make sure that it goes into your head because we need you. We need your life. We need your breath so you can serve us, so that you can die for us. It's wild. That's pop culture. It's pop culture influence. And it either influences you one way or influences you another. You're either going to go and you're going to be willing to die, and that's admirable and should always be respected because you're not being taken for granted. At least we, the humans who still sit here, who get to do these live discussions, who get to sit and talk and converse with people over coffee, we cannot take for granted that there's other us's going overseas and fighting for us. Pointlessly fighting for us sometimes. The Vietnam War being one of the biggest examples of how pointless it was for our men to go overseas. I do have one more for you guys. And if this clip doesn't speak volumes into how pop culture and war are absolutely one and the same, I couldn't tell you a better clip to do that with.
My thoughts drift back to erect nipple wet dreams about Mary Jane Rottencrotch and the great homecoming fuck fantasy. I am so happy that I am alive, in one piece and short. I'm in a world of shit. Yes, but I am alive. And I am not afraid.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Hey there, hi there, ho there, you're as welcome as can be. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
I am alive, but I'm in a world of shit. That's wild. As they sing Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, pop culture, walking around, marching, singing about Mickey Mouse. If that isn't the biggest clash between war and pop culture, I swear to God, I don't think there will be anything else that symbolizes the influence from one to the other and the other to the other. They are one and the same. They go hand in hand. And we, ladies and gentlemen, are fixtures. We're fixtures inside all of it. We tap in, our light bulbs get screwed into one area, and if we're done with that trend, we get screwed into another one. By choice, we do this choosing. And again, no judgment. That's how it is. That's why pop culture is so inspirational. It's creative. It's propaganda, but it's creative propaganda for the most part. It convinces you one way or another. And it's really up to us to decide where it goes. It's really up to us for us to decide what trait, what personality trait do we want to be that day? Do I want to be the hero, or do I want to lay back and just be silent? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You choose what you choose. There's no judgment, like I said. Nobody's saying go out and fight. Nobody's saying pull back either. All I'm saying is the evidence is there. In that sense, we all have one thing in common, and that one thing in common is that we are all influenced by pop culture one way or another. Thank you guys for watching this episode. It was a really fun one to do. Thank you guys for participating. I love absolutely talking to you guys. Benny, thank you for being here. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. That is awesome. That is so cool. Lone Fractal, thank you, my friend. I love seeing you when you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a fun episode. Leave comments. Leave likes, subscribe, do all the things. It'd be really appreciated. Again, I had a lovely time doing this episode with you. I hope it was thought-provoking enough and entertaining enough to keep you here long enough for the last 40 or so minutes. So with that, I am Tootie Odin, your host for Tootie's Toy Box, and I will see you guys next week. You guys have a wonderful night.